Our troops return from a tragic but successful mission. We lay Alexis to rest and regroup to prepare for the battles to come. In a war where the entire planet is at stake, there's no time to waste. Welcome back to XCOM, Enemy Within. As we return to base, we're informed that our experimental warfare research is complete. With it, we can build a foundry and craft new items like Reaper rounds, which are more damaging but less accurate at range, and flashbang grenades. While we may not be using things like these often, it's always good to have options. We ask Valen to interrogate the Thin Man we just brought home, and we begin on a bit of upkeep at the base. One of the features I haven't talked about yet is the panic system. The world is in a state of disarray after the aliens arrived, and part of XCOM's job is to help keep the peace. If a region becomes too restless, their governments will pull their participation and potential funding of the XCOM program and focus on themselves. While successfully completing missions in a region will lower panic there, situations like alien abductions leave me falling behind a bit. As I can only solve one of the 3 presented choices every time, 2 regions will have their panic levels raised. One of the ways I can reduce panic without completing a boots-on-the-ground mission is to launch satellites to monitor an area. I have a single spare satellite, and just enough bandwidth to support it, so I launch it above the United States to calm them down a bit. In return, whenever the monthly report rolls around, I'll be getting an additional 180 simoleons, plus a scientist and an engineer. In order to prepare to launch additional satellites, I want to build another satellite relay. I start Shannon and his team on a power station to allow our base to support it in the near future. The Council soon sends us word of our next mission. There's been an attack on a military convoy in France. But it wasn't aliens. Humans were the perpetrators here. And though the main struggle was human on human, there are signs of alien intervention in the fight, so we are sent out to investigate and look for survivors. As a reward, we'll get 150 simoleons, a scientist, and an engineer. We have a lot of wounded soldiers that are still recovering, since we've had a number of missions in quick succession, so we assemble a squad consisting of a few experienced soldiers and a few rookies. Some of these are brand new recruits fresh out of training literally a few seconds ago, so I haven't customized them at all. The squad: Michaela and Caitlin as our experienced soldiers, my sister, Kira, as a rookie from my starting group of soldiers, and brand new recruits Bonme and Dimitra. I equip everyone with the standard gear, and we launch Operation Bloody Paramour. The squad begins pushing through the wreckage, sticking within sight of each other, and providing Overwatch cover. I realize now, 2 episodes into this series, I've failed to explain Overwatch, so let me do that now. On each of my soldiers' turns, they can forego firing their weapon and instead enter Overwatch mode. This is equivalent to holding your action in Dungeons & Dragons. They'll stay put and wait for something to happen within their line of sight. If something happens before their next turn, say an alien steps out of cover to move, they'll react and open fire. This comes with a slight aim penalty, but it can provide better opportunities to cause damage, especially with the flanking rules I turned on at the start of this playthrough. Overwatch is critical to our soldiers' survival, and I'll be using it a lot. Now that I've explained that, we can continue on with the mission. The squad pushes forward carefully, ensuring buildings and alleyways are cleared without straying too far from one another. We find 2 thin men, and Kat kills one while the other rushes for cover. After Kira takes a shot from the surviving thin man, Michaela pushes forward with her running gun perk. While she discovers a 3rd enemy here, she also successfully kills the 2nd one, leaving us at a net 0 for number of thin men we're actively dealing with right now. On its turn, this new thin man decides that Kira hasn't had enough yet and fires on her, leaving her clinging for dear life to her last singular hit point. Kira rushes for cover immediately and heals herself. Since no one on the squad has the appropriate medic perk, this was our one and only heal for the rest of this mission. Michaela uses her laser pistol and deals minimal damage. Might as well have hit him with a laser pointer and hope that a passing cat would deal a stronger blow, which, luckily, Cat actually does. With the last of the hostiles cleared out, we continue to push forward and come across the only survivor of the struggle here. We find one more enemy alongside him, and as Kira takes another hit, I thank God I told her to heal earlier, as without those extra hit points, she would have been dead then and there, and I don't really want my sister's blood on my hands. After we take out the last of the aliens, we stop by and see the only survivor, who's about to tell us everything that happened here. We turn around and start our trek back to the extraction point with our new friend as more enemy forces drop into the area to hinder our retreat. Unfortunately...
Damn it. We've lost the VIP, Commander.
With the VIP dead, all we can really do is finish off the last of the hostiles in the area. After they're dead, we return home with our first failed mission of the campaign. Unsurprisingly, we never do receive the funds and support staff the Council offered us in exchange for this mission. Maybe they just got lost in the mail. As our Thin Man interrogation completes, we gain a research speed bonus on future projects related to UFO technology. We ask Valen to take a look at the Outsider shard we brought back last episode to find out what's up with that. As she researches, we start chatting on construction of another satellite relay as well as a genetics lab so we can begin using MELD to enhance our soldiers. We get word of an alien craft that just set down in Nigeria. We scrounge up a team to go take them out and salvage materials. For Operation Vengeful Hammer, Brody and I are taking point, leading Dimitra on her second mission, plus new recruits Tanvi and George. Within the first round of this mission, we discover a pod of 3 sectoids. One boosts its friend, and as it moves to get a better firing angle, I kill it immediately. After their third friend misses its retaliatory fire, Tanvi takes out another with a precise sniper shot. George finishes off the last member of this group, and the rest of the squad continues forward. As Brody moves closer to the ship, he spots a pair of Seekers, which immediately drop into stealth mode. As we prepare to deal with an attack from any direction, 3 Thin Men come charging out from further into the UFO. Now things are looking a bit dicey. The first Seeker uncloaks, and while it takes some damage from our reactionary Overwatch fire, it survives and begins strangling George. Tanvi takes it out with her sidearm, and as we reveal an outsider within the ship, the squad makes some adjustments to their positioning. We want to be in cover to protect us from the enemies inside the ship, but we also want to have eyes on each other to be ready for that second Seeker to uncloak. It'll appear when we least expect it, and it could come from any direction, and there it is. Tanvi misses her Overwatch shots, and Dimitra gets a very unwelcome tentacle bear hug. The outsider takes a shot from afar, and with a critical hit, George is left bleeding out between Brody and I. Luckily, I know first aid, and I have 3 medkit charges ready to go. Though it takes half of my turn, George is revived with 2 health and able to continue the fight, but just barely. With the second half of my turn, I use another charge of the medkit to raise him up to 6 health, so another shot hopefully won't kill him. George deals enough damage to the Seeker to get it off Dimitra, but it still lives. And to prevent the outsider causing us any more problems, Brody hits it with a rocket to guarantee that it dies. On the alien's turn, the Seeker retreats from its place in the middle of the entire squad, and with a dangerously accurate shot, one of the remaining Thin Men hits the weakened Dimitra and leaves her bleeding out too. Things aren't looking good. George rushes to Dimitra's side and takes out the second Seeker before it can decimate us with flanking fire. Now our only remaining threats are inside the ship to our north. Brody moves out of the way so I can still remain in cover while I heal Dimitra, and things get a little weird. As the mist from the medkit washes over her, Dimitra floats several feet in the air, twisted and deformed as if she were possessed. As she returns from beyond the grave, and casually stands on the thin air beside me, I begin to wonder if her revival was not the work of my medical prowess, but as a result of some twisted pact she made with a demonic being in the afterlife. Needless to say, we're going to be keeping an eye on Dimitra moving forward. If we catch her chanting ancient curses in Latin and bleeding from her eyes, we may need to have a bit of an intervention. Tanvi takes out one of the Thin Men inside the ship, but a third remains somewhere in there, outside of anyone's vision. I push forward to investigate, and take a hit from him as he takes his Overwatch shot. Since it's now in my line of sight, Tanvi can see it with her squad sight perk, and her sniper rifle is the perfect weapon to take it out while it's distracted. And with that, Operation Vengeful Hammer comes to a close, with 2 incredibly close calls and 1 intervention from a malevolent higher power. Almost the entire squad receives promotions from this mission. After we debrief from this mission, Valen and Shen tell us that the Outsider Shard has directed us to coordinates on Earth, where we discover that the alien invaders have established an underground complex. With some careful engineering, we can fashion this piece of alien technology into a key that will allow us passage into the facility. With our next major operation in front of us, we have preparations to make. Our top soldiers still need to be rested, healed, and well-equipped for the fight to come. While our laser pistols are a good start, they aren't enough to take on the enemy on their own turf. In the time between now and our assault on the enemy base, I want to finish some major research projects, upgrade my squad's armor, and upgrade their primary weapons. In the time it takes to gather the funds and do this research, I may have the opportunity to earn some more promotions to strengthen our teams, as well as perhaps find a priest to take a look at Dimitra. We're already dealing with an alien threat. The last thing we need is hell itself working against us at the same time. I hope you enjoyed this chapter of the XCOM Chronicles. Leave a like and comment to let me know what you think. Make sure to subscribe too so you don't miss what comes next. Thanks again for following along with my misadventures, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye!